Hey, Sean, this is what is in my audio bag. I am a video producer here in St. Louis, Missouri. I travel around, and so I like to be as lean as I can with my audio kit, but still prepare me for as much as I can. And you should know at the beginning, there are two things that I don't run audio for, and that I hire somebody, and that is if my subject is moving. I don't like using lavs and monitoring them and all that stuff. I barely like using this one right now. And I don't want to have a boom pole or anything like that, so I hire somebody if anyone is going to be moving around, or if there's multiple people. I can do one, maybe two people, depending on the situation, but if there's multiple people, I always hire a location sound mixer, usually J Sweet, and that's how I do it. But for most of what I do, which is like documentary style, seated interviews, stationary interviews, I want to be able to record my audio myself to keep my costs low for my clients, so this is the kit that I use to get that done. First off, the brains of the operation is my Zoom F6. This is a field recorder with 6 inputs. I never use more than 2, but this records in 32-bit floating point audio, which if you're unfamiliar, it's not raw audio. It doesn't fix everything, but it lets you adjust your gain after the fact. So if you place your microphone way too far away from somebody, it's not going to make it sound any better, but you can make it louder. What this is useful for is after you place your microphone properly, if somebody starts talking a lot louder or a lot quieter during part of their interview, you can adjust for that later instead of having to sit there and feather the gain knob manually during an interview. So I love this thing, and it lets me sort of put it on autopilot once the microphones are placed properly. So into this audio recorder, I run 2 microphones primarily. My second most used microphone is the Rode NTG3. This is their flagship shotgun microphone. It's a 7-inch shotgun microphone. It sounds great. It's in line with the Sennheiser 416 and the audio. I mean, it's a great microphone, and I've yet to ever hear anyone say, "Hey, it's your microphone that makes that audio not sound great." Most people can't tell the difference, and usually your problems come from putting a mic in the wrong place or having a short in your system somewhere or too much interference around. This microphone, I'm not here to tell you, is the best microphone, but it's the one that I've used and the one that I trust for a long time now. The microphone that I use most often is the Rode NT5. This is a pencil condenser microphone, and I've made a video, I'll put the link in the description below, but I've made a video about why shotgun microphones are not always the best decision. But in a nutshell, if it's any room that has any amount of echo, a shotgun microphone will start to get muddy really quickly. It'll cancel out the higher frequencies and sound overly bassy. So a pencil condenser microphone doesn't do that, and we're not going to go into why, but because of most of what I shoot ends up being on location in people's conference rooms, offices, warehouses, production facilities, wherever, these aren't treated spaces. So if I'm outside, I use a shotgun microphone. If I'm on a treated space, I'll use a shotgun microphone. But for the most part, I use the NT5 pencil condenser microphone, and I run it into the Zoom F6 with an XLR cable. In my bag, I keep 3 of these. At most, I'm gonna run 2 microphones, at absolute most, but I keep 3 just in case something shorts. These microphone cables are 10 years old. Because I take very, very good care of my microphone cables. I wind them thoughtfully and lovingly, and they've lasted me a very long time. But if one of them decides it's time to be done, I have backups that I keep in this bag as well. Everything else in this bag, this is how I get from sound to SD card. Everything else in this bag is to address different situations that might come up. And again, if things are too complicated, I'm quick to hire somebody so that it can be someone else's sole responsibility to deal with, where I'm not multitasking trying to fix all the audio problems while also running camera, directing, or whatever else I may be doing. But for the things that I do want to tackle, I have a few different options for wind. If I'm outside, I've got a Rycote Softie for the NTG3, which cuts down wind when I'm outside in most situations. When I'm inside, I still put this, the foam screen that came with it. I've had people ask, like, why do you put that if you're inside? Is there a lot of wind? This doesn't actually help that much with any substantial wind, but if you've got a fan on, if you've got any sort of air moving, if somebody closes a door and there's a gust of wind through the room, tiny little things can affect the microphone a little bit, and I put this on and I don't have issues with it. And I've never heard somebody say, wow, that sounds like you have a tiny factory included windscreen on your microphone. You should take that off. I don't run my microphone naked. I always put at least this on it, and sometimes the big guy. Come back. Also in the kit is my shock mount. This is an Auray shock mount that will fit either one of my microphones. And I always use this even if I'm not mounting on a boom pole or walking around or anything. It's just nice where if somebody steps or kicks a stand, this will dampen the vibration a little bit and save your audio a little bit. And then I have my other two microphones in here. This is my Deity V-Mic D3 Pro. I use this mic more than any other mic because this is my on-camera mic, but also if I'm trying to do something quickly where I don't want to record audio into the F6, I will run this through a 10-foot like headphone extension cable essentially directly into my camera so that my audio is all synced up and I don't have that extra step. When I know it's not a high stakes situation, this is what I use. So for most of my YouTube videos, this is what I use because if I did have some problem with it, I'm just going to re-record it. If it's something where I have, only 10 minutes with the CEO of a company or whatever, that's when I always make sure I have the redundancy and I'm recording in a few different spots. But for the lower pressure stuff, the Deity V-Mic D3 Pro is wonderful. Also have the dead cat for any windy stuff outside for the Deity. And then just a couple of accessories here. I have a pair of earbuds. Now I do have like a bigger set of headphones. I have several larger sets of headphones. And on occasion, I will put these in the kit if I know I'm doing like all day interviews or something like that. But for the most part, it's not like these have incredible sound. I mean, they're good, but the earbuds are also good. What I'm mostly looking for when I monitor audio is there a lot of background noise? Is there any high-pitched buzzing? Is there interference from compressors, refrigerators, air conditioners, whatever it may be? And the earbuds have, for me, always been good enough to be able to tell that. Is it something that an audio engineer would say, yeah, this is sufficient? Probably not, but for what I do, if it makes it through here where I can't hear it through here, it's probably something that I can fix with a little bit of post-processing before it gets published on YouTube or wherever it goes where somebody's going to listen to it on their phone anyway. I keep a Rode M1. This is a dynamic microphone, sort of like a Shure SM58. I keep this in here for voiceover work because if I'm working with somebody who isn't a professional voiceover artist, giving them a microphone that's on a stand or like setting up a shotgun microphone or pencil condenser, people tend to like move in and out a little bit and drift. And if you've got a microphone mounted somewhere, you can end up with some proximity effect. So I always like this because I can hand this to somebody and they tend to hold it at a pretty consistent distance to their mouth. So even if they're walking around or turning a little bit, you're not going to get the same sort of variance as you would if they were standing underneath a stationary microphone because they take this with them. Also in the bag is a Sony NP battery, NP battery. If you're a producer, you probably have some of these, even if you don't have Sony cameras. But this is what powers the F6, and I love it because this powers it for so long, and I've got a bunch of them, and rather than taking a stack of AA batteries or trying to have something recharge, this will run it all day. And so I usually bring 2 of these just in case, have that redundancy, but it's way better than bringing and managing a whole bunch of small AA batteries or AAA batteries. And lastly, in the bag is I have a Zoom H1N handy recorder, and I keep its giant dead cat in here as well. And if I'm being honest, and I try to be, I have never ever used this. I turned it on to test it when I bought it, and it seems like something I should have, like a nice safety thing if you want to have ambient noise or ambient audio captured. You can also plug a lav directly into this and put it in your pocket, which is neat. And I also found out that I can plug my Deity directly into this, and like on a boom pole, this could record not into camera, but you could have this sort of wireless boom pole that's recording into a really, really small form factor. Again, I haven't done that. I don't need to, but for whatever reason, like a security blanket, I keep this little guy in my audio kit just in case, but I have yet to find that case. That is all I've got. This is everything that's in my audio bag. And again, this is for seated interviews. If there's anything beyond that, I'm quick to hire somebody, usually Jay. If you have any questions or suggestions about why I have any of this gear or anything, I'll try to break down a list in the description below. I live in Missouri, so we don't get to use affiliate links, so don't worry about that. But if you have any questions, throw them in the comments, and I'll do my best to get back to you. That's all. Have a great day, night, whatever, wherever. See you later. Bye.